Portrayed by Denzel Washington, this man is a former CIA operative who thought he had left his violent past behind. But when he took a job protecting the daughter of one of Mexico's most powerful men, he never expected what was coming. His mission was simple: keep her safe. But when a ruthless cartel snatched her away, they made a fatal mistake. They had no idea who they were up against. He wasn't just any bodyguard, he was a trained killing machine, and now he's about to make them pay. Welcome back to Film in Minutes. Buckle up, because this story isn't just a rescue mission. It's a war where one man takes on a powerful cartel. And they're about to find out that messing with the wrong guy's family is a serious mistake. Every twist in this story will keep you on edge, so don't miss a second. The movie starts with John W. Creasy, a former CIA operative, arriving in Mexico City. He's here to visit an old friend, Paul Rayburn, who now runs a security firm. But Creasy is not just here to catch up. He's a man burdened by a troubled past, looking for a purpose. Paul Rayburn knows Creasy well. He's seen the toll years of covert operations have taken on his friend. Rayburn suggests that Creasy take a job as a bodyguard. It's not just any job, it's a chance for Creasy to focus on something other than his inner demons. The job is simple: protect Samuel Ramos's young daughter, Lupita. The city is plagued by kidnappings and Lupita is at risk. Samuel needs a bodyguard, but he doesn't want to spend too much. Creasy, battling alcoholism and burnout, comes cheap and considered the deal. Rayburn pushes Creasy to take the job, believing it might be what he needs to find some peace. At the Ramos residence, Creasy is introduced to the family. Samuel, desperate to cut costs, hires Creasy despite his troubled past. Lisa, however, sees something in Creasy, a sadness she believes might make him the right person to protect her daughter. She's already rejected several candidates, but Creasy's American background and the vulnerability she senses in him convince her to take the risk. Creasy is hired, and with that, he's thrust into a new life, one where he must protect a little girl in a city where danger is never far away. Creasy's first days on the job are marked by a cold distance. He keeps Lupita at arm's length, doing only what's necessary to keep her safe. He's a man lost in his thoughts, struggling with memories from his time in the CIA, guilt over the lives he's taken, the reason why the bottle of alcohol became his only companion. Lupita, despite Creasy's cold demeanor, doesn't give up. She tries to befriend him, asking about his life, but Creasy keeps his walls up. Inside, he's a man on the edge, barely holding on. His failed suicide attempt is a harsh reminder that even death isn't ready to take him. Gradually, something shifts in Creasy. He notices Lupita's fear of the starter gun at her swim meets and decides to help her overcome it. It's a small step, but it begins to draw him out of the darkness he's been living in. Creasy starts coaching her, teaching her to react to the gunshot without flinching. Through their training sessions, a bond forms between Creasy and Lupita. She wins her next swim meet, diving into the water without hesitation. For the first time in a long while, Creasy feels a sense of accomplishment, not from violence, but from helping someone else succeed. But the peace is short-lived. One day, while waiting for Lupita outside her piano lesson, Creasy spots a car circling the block. His instincts kick in that something isn't right. The tension rises as two federal police officers block the street, heightening Creasy's suspicions. As Lupita exits the building, Creasy's fears are realized. He yells for her to run, but she freezes in shock. The kidnappers close in. Creasy fights back with everything he has, taking out several assailants, but he's outnumbered and outgunned. He takes multiple bullets, collapsing as Lupita is dragged away. The pain he felt at that moment isn't just from his wounds, it's the realization that he's failed her. The police arrive, but instead of helping, they arrest Creasy. Corruption runs deep in the city, and Creasy is falsely accused of being part of the plot to kidnap Lupita. He's left to fend for himself, wounded and alone. After the incident, Creasy is taken to a veterinarian clinic by Miguel Manzano, an AFI agent who sees the truth behind the chaos. Manzano knows the system is rotten, and he's determined to help Creasy find justice. While Creasy recovers, he's approached by Mariana Garcia Guerrero, a journalist who wants to expose the corruption that allowed Lupita's kidnapping. As Creasy regains his strength, he begins to investigate the kidnapping. He discovers that the ransom drop arranged by the federal police was a disaster. The kidnappers were ambushed by a rival gang, leading to the death of the gang leader's nephew. Now, the situation has spiraled out of control, and Lupita's life is in even greater danger. Creasy visits Lupita's room, finding a diary where she noted the license plate of a suspicious car that had been following them. This clue leads him to the getaway driver. With a lead from Lupita's diary, Creasy tracks down the getaway driver. What follows is a relentless pursuit of everyone involved in the kidnapping. Creasy is no longer just a bodyguard. He's a man on a mission, hunting down the criminals responsible for Lupita's abduction. Creasy's hunt takes him deeper into the criminal underworld. From the getaway driver, he learns about Jersey Boy, a middleman in the operation. Each encounter brings Creasy closer to the truth, but also reveals just how deep the corruption goes. The trail leads Creasy to Lieutenant Victor Fuentes, a key player in the criminal syndicate. Under intense pressure, Fuentes reveals that most of the ransom money was stolen by Jordan Calfus, the Ramos family's lawyer. This betrayal adds another layer of treachery to the already complex web of lies surrounding Lupita's kidnapping. Creasy arrives at Jordan Calfus's home, but it's too late. The lawyer has been silenced, likely by those he double-crossed. But the trail isn't cold yet. Among Calfus's belongings, Creasy finds crucial evidence. A fax containing bank account details that link Samuel Ramos directly to the stolen ransom money. The pieces of the puzzle are falling into place, and they paint a picture of betrayal and greed. Creasy pockets the fax and heads to the Ramos residence. Armed with the damning evidence, Creasy confronts Samuel and Lisa Ramos. Samuel's guilt is written all over his face, and under Creasy's intense questioning, he finally breaks down. Samuel confesses that he orchestrated the kidnapping with Calfus's help. It was supposed to be a way to solve his financial troubles, using the insurance payout to cover his debts. But things went horribly wrong. Samuel reveals that he never intended for Lupita to be hurt. The plan was to stage the kidnapping, pay off the debts, and return to life as usual. But when the ransom drop was botched and Lupita's life was truly endangered, Samuel's world crumbled. In a moment of madness, he murdered Calfus, the man who had convinced him to go along with the scheme. Lisa, devastated and enraged, turns to Creasy. She demands that Samuel pay for what he's done. Creasy, understanding the gravity of the situation, leaves Samuel with a gun and a single bullet, the same bullet Creasy once considered using on himself. Samuel, overcome with guilt, sees no other way out. He ends his life, a tragic conclusion to his desperate and misguided plan. Creasy receives a call from Mariana Garcia Guerrero, who informs him that the ATM card he recovered belongs to Daniel Sanchez's wife. With Samuel dead, Creasy's focus shifts to the real villain, Daniel Sanchez, also known as The Voice. Mariana Garcia Guerrero uncovers that the ATM card Creasy found earlier is linked to Sanchez's wife. This information leads Creasy to the edge of the city, where Sanchez's brother Aurelio lives. In Creasy's mind, it's time for this to end. Creasy's quest for vengeance takes him to Aurelio's home. He breaks in, taking Sanchez's brother hostage. Even after being shot, Creasy refuses to back down. He knows he's close to saving Lupita, and nothing will stop him now. Creasy contacts Sanchez, proposing a trade, Aurelio's life for Lupita's. It's a desperate gamble, but it's all Creasy has left. The exchange is set. On an isolated overpass, Creasy prepares to trade himself and Aurelio for Lupita. As he watches Sanchez's car approach, he spots Lupita in the back seat. She's alive, but terrified. The moment of truth has arrived. Creasy and Lupita finally reunite in the middle of the overpass. Despite the pain and the blood loss, Creasy smiles at her, knowing that he's done his job. He tells Lupita that he loves her, a rare moment of vulnerability from a man who had tried so hard to keep everyone at arm's length. Then, with all the strength he has left, he sends her to safety, back into her mother's arms. Creasy fulfills his end of the deal, handing over Aurelio and getting into Sanchez's car. But the journey is short-lived. The wounds Creasy sustained are too severe, and he passes away quietly in the back seat, his mission finally complete. Meanwhile, Manzano, having tracked Sanchez, takes justice into his own hands. He ends Sanchez's life, ensuring that the man who caused so much pain will never hurt anyone again. In the end, Creasy's journey was one of redemption. A man broken by his past who found a reason to fight one last time. He gave his life to save Lupita, and in doing so, found the peace that had eluded him for so long. Though the city still wakes to a new day, the shadow of Creasy's sacrifice lingers, a reminder of the lengths one will go to for love, honor, and redemption. That wraps up our dive into this intense story. From jaw-dropping plot twists to high-stakes action, we've covered it all. If you enjoyed watching this relentless battle unfold and want more deep dives into gripping narratives, make sure to like and subscribe. Share your thoughts and favorite moments in the comments below. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time for another pulse-pounding adventure.